Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. I thought this would be a good time. I guess it would be the best way for me to put it. For me to do an update now that I have some information. Yeah, I know I've gained some weight. This is wow. I know. I look at myself and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am just gaining weight. But I'm not being hard on myself either. Because I also know what I'm going through right now. And I am trying to get help. I'm trying to do things for myself and so forth. It's just, it is what it is right now. So fingers crossed I'll be able to lose all this weight. This is the most I have ever weighed in my entire life. And it's just, ugh. Yeah, I'm not used to feeling this. I mean, I'm not used to looking this way, but even more so, I'm not used to feeling this way either. And it just, driving me nuts. Hold on a second. I had to turn the AC on. I don't like talking over it. It's cool enough in here now where I can do all this. Yeah, I had to turn it on. We're expected to, I think we're supposed to get up into the 80s today. We're going to be going through a little bit of a heat wave here in the Minneapolis area. It's been a pretty cool summer so far. Well, yeah, I'm like, are we in summer yet? Yeah, that's right. This is June, not May. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. But anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty cool summer here. I mean, we've been here recently. We even got down into the low 50s at nighttime. So yeah, it's been pretty cool here so far. But we're going to be jumping up into the 80s and 90s here soon. And today I think we're supposed to be jumping up into the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So. And I also had to turn the AC on a little bit early because there's a business, an office basically across the street, and they're closed on the weekend. And today, I guess this weekend, they decided to retar the parking lot. So they were out there early this morning. I had my window open, breathing in all that nice, wonderful fresh air. And they were out there early this morning blowing shit around, and and of course I'm sleeping. I hear it's going on, but yeah, I wound up getting all stuffy and so forth. Been blowing my nose and so forth all morning. So, and I'm a little horsey still because of it, but they're done now, and everything. But in the meantime, yeah, I had to turn AC on because of those couple of things. So anyway, enough about all of that. So, and me complaining about my weight. Anywho, I thought, yeah, like I said at the start, I thought this would be a good time for me to do an update with because of things that have been going on. Still going to physical therapy. I did get approved by the insurance to extend my physical therapy sessions. The insurance would only cover up to 14 visits. Anything beyond that, I had to get uh, prior authorization from my doctors, both my primary care physician and my, what do you call it, physical therapist. Deal with a lot of brain fog, sorry. And it just, boom, all of a sudden, I just can't remember something. It's like I'll be mid-sentence even. So, anywho, I had to get those letters, forms taken care of, and then sent off to the insurance, and then bam, they got it, the prior auth approved. So I'm good for another 28 sessions. According to the paperwork, the approval paperwork that I got from the insurance company, it looks like I'm good until the end of the year. I think it's like December. I know it's the end of December. I don't know if it's December 31st or what have you, but anyway, I'm good until the end of the year. So anyway, so that's good because I realized I was starting to make improvements on things that have been going on here in my torso, and of course this old neck injury that I have from the car accident that I was in well, excuse me, this makes 8 years ago. Eight? Shit. Okay, hold on. 9 years ago. Excuse me, this is 2020. Yeah, because Possum, my cat, she's going to be 8 this year, and I got her the year after. So, yeah, 9 years, end of next month, will make 9 years ago. I was rear-ended and basically did a double whiplash. So I have pinched nerves here in my C6 and C7, and I also deal with a lot of muscle tension here at the base of my skull, here in the back of my head. So, yeah, with everything combined, I've been going through physical therapy for all of that. And of course, like I said, also with up in here, I deal with what's called, you know what, I'm going to let you look it up. I have problems pronouncing it. It's ME/CFS, okay? So, and basically a lot of muscle strain, basically muscle cramping, not strain, but cramping, to the point where, and mostly triggered with storms, don't necessarily have to be right here in this area. I can feel them literally, not figuratively, but literally 1,000 miles away. Okay, the pressure being coming in from that far of a distance, and to the point. Oh, somebody's coming upstairs. Sorry. To the point with the cramping, basically, to where where it will feel like my body's trying to choke itself or choke me to death. I'll have to actually hold my breath at times until the muscle spasm passes, and then I could start breathing again. I have had to deal with that multiple times. But fortunately, between the physical therapy and then, these supplements that I was on, we've been able to get a lot of this straightened around, so it's not as bad. I still deal with it, but it's not as bad, to that point anymore, anyway. But now, unfortunately, now I'm dealing with another issue. And I know it's because of the ME/CFS. I am having issues with my feet. Now, I realize some of you already know who have been following me for a while. I'm also a type 1 diabetic. I became a type 1. All of this, basically, as far as the ME/CFS is concerned, all of that is due to long COVID. Okay? And after having COVID, it was almost 4 years ago, or what we suspect was COVID. I was never properly tested, but yeah, the Omicron variant was going around at that time, and yeah, it was pretty nasty. And 4 months later, all of a sudden, poof, I pop up as type 1 diabetic, and I wasn't having any issues beforehand. So I know what happened with that, because, it's such a foreign virus and everything, and our body's not knowing how to deal with it and so forth. I say that what had happened is my body not knowing how to deal with it and fighting it and so forth. It released the GAD antibody to try and help combat it, and then, bam, I became type 1 diabetic in the process. For those of you who are not aware, with the difference, there are 2 different types of diabetes. There's actually 3, but the one is kind of, but anyway, there's type 1 and type 2, and then the third one is mostly recognized by endocrinologists is what's called type 1.5. It's basically when you get type 1 late in life, because typically if you're going to be a type 1, it happens before the age of 30. But if you're like me, you get it later on in life, then you're constituted as type 1.5. Okay. And basically, the difference between type 1 and type 2 is with type 1 is you have to go through a blood test for this, is if you test positive for this one particular, what's called a GAD antibody. I think it's the GAD 65 or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, if you test positive for that, then that means that you're type 1. Okay, and I tested positive for it. That's why I'm type 1 versus type 2. Type 2 is basically when your pancreas is just having a hard time keeping up because of weight gain and so forth. Okay, so anywho, now the reason why I bring all that up, as far as my feet is concerned, is what will happen with diabetics a lot of times, especially if it's diabetes that's out of control, is you can develop what is called diabetic neuropathy. Okay, and it typically attacks the feet first. Don't get me wrong, I realize I may be dealing with that. Even though I have done a very good job at keeping up with my diabetes and everything, there's still the possibility that it could possibly happen. The only reason why I am not thinking that it's neuropathy is because I don't have any sores on my feet anywhere. Okay, touts, bounds, whatever. But yet I'm having these serious pain issues. And I know it's something that's neurological. It's not just, wearing improper shoes or anything like that. I know it's something neurological that is going on because, shortly after I had my car accident, it was about a couple months later, I was stung by a scorpion. I was living out in Vegas at the time. I lived there for 20 years. And I got stung by a scorpion in my left hand, and the venom, when it comes to scorpion stings, the venom goes through, gets transported through your blood vessels, but it attacks your nervous system. And I'm having a lot of similarities to what I felt then to what I'm feeling now with my feet. So, and it's a lot of pain, mushiness, muscle cramping, so on and so forth. So I've been working with my physical therapist. Not only has he been working on all this up here, but also he's been doing some cold light therapy, on my feet. And I also tried doing some Epsom salt foot baths. Really hasn't helped very much. Neither of it has. So I've been back and forth on going to see a neurologist. And I'll admit, I was wondering if maybe I should just go see a podiatrist. But ultimately, either way, whether I decide to go and see a specialist or not, I knew that the best thing for me to do would be not to see a podiatrist because of misdiagnoses, and I've dealt with that quite a lot since I've been dealing with all this long COVID crap. So I'm like, no, I don't think it would be a good idea for me to go see a podiatrist. And it was a good thing I'd made that decision, because I finally made the decision to go see a neurologist. And I started calling around yesterday. I contacted my health insurance to make sure I didn't need a prior authorization, which I do not. So I can just go without a referral, as long as the doctor's office doesn't require one, basically. And I found one place that does not require a referral. And they were also the place who had the earliest appointment. And I laughed because the earliest appointment that I could get was October 21st. Every place else that I called, even where I am already established with my primary care physician, because I have neurologists, within that group. Every place else, we were looking at March, April, May of next year. Yeah. So, I have to wait until October, but at least it's October instead of March, April, May of next year. So I'm grateful. Of course, I know I'm going to have to go through a whole barrage of testing and so forth, before we, make sure that it's one versus the other, and treatment options, all that sort of stuff. But the way I look at it is this will give the time that's needed to possibly be diagnosed, to basically to be upgraded in diagnoses from ME/CFS to fibromyalgia. Because in order for you to be diagnosed with either, you have to be having symptoms for at least 3 months. So, and I think I'm like 2 months going into 3 months, maybe something like that, with when I first started feeling things start happening in my feet. But yeah, we'll definitely be surpassed with that. And from what I've read, the big difference between fibromyalgia and ME/CFS is more localized. It may migrate around or whatever, or jump around. It would probably be a better word than migrate around, whereas fibromyalgia is everywhere. And that's kind of where I'm at, is everywhere. So yeah, that's, and of course part of it, both of them is the brain fog, fatigue, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is where I'm at. And also the way I look at it is this is just one more step of possibly getting approval on a first time shot, I guess you could say, with getting approval for Social Security disability without having to go through a possible appeal process. So I think it's time. I haven't heard anything back from any of that. I did contact the attorney's office, let them know what's been going on or what's coming up and so forth. I got clarification as to things that I need to be doing that to help with the process and so forth as well. I don't know if any of that was told to me before. I deal with so much brain fog. I spend most of my time in confusion. It's like dealing with somebody who has dementia or Alzheimer's. That's how I feel. And I feel like I'm going insane a lot of times, like I'm losing my mind. It can be a bit distressing, but I'm learning to come to terms with it, and that's the big thing. I've had my temper tantrums, I guess you could say, and so forth, but yeah, that's where I'm at with all of that. So, but yeah, and I'm learning how to listen to myself more instead of feeling like I need to be under pressure all the time from everybody that I know or what have you. Learning how to go at my own pace, basically going at the speed of me, okay, instead of feeling like I have to be pressured all the time to go at the speed of the world, which is not going to be conducive for me. I can't do it. It isn't that I don't want to do it. I want to. I've always been somebody who's been very driven and so forth. It's more that I'm having to learn that I can't do that no more. I have to slow down. And I have to, when I'm having issues, like issues with the brain fog and so forth, I'm learning how to stop myself and be like, slow down, Take a moment and stop letting yourself get so damn flustered and frustrated with yourself. Excuse me, I know my throat's still funky from all that stuff blowing around. They were blowing around out there. It was blowing right in through my window. But anyway, but yeah, I've been learning how to slow myself down, stop myself, and be like, okay, stop. Take it slow. Don't don't put pressure on yourself, by telling yourself, think about what you're doing or anything like that. Just stop. Let yourself breathe a minute. Let yourself just let your body work through what is going on at that moment. Just let it work through it, flow through it, basically. Just flow through it all. So that's what I've been working on doing. And just taking it slow. Whether anybody likes it or not. Period. Even in conversations having with people, how people can have a tendency to want to jump in when you're mid-sentence because they have a brain inspiration and want to put their 2 cents worth in or whatever. I'm learning how to stop people from doing that instead of allowing them to run me over. And that's very difficult for me to do. As I'll admit, in many ways, I'm a people pleaser. Yeah, I'm a rebel, a badass, all this sort of stuff and everything. But my Libra moon, I'm a Libra moon. As far as my moon sign is concerned, I'm a Libra moon. And, yeah, it's that energy inside of me, my subconscious, wanting everything to be balanced, basically people pleasing, thinking and it's like, no, I have to think of me first. I need to tip that scale to put me more first. And that's what I've been working on doing. And learning how to ask for help or even accept help if it's offered, instead of being, oh no, I can handle everything. No, you need to start. I've been using my cane a lot more. It's a cane, it's one that my mom used. That thing, I realized last night when I was out working that that thing is 20 years old. She's used it. I've used it. I bought it. I was the one who bought it. I bought it for her. So, and I kept it primarily because of her. And even though I didn't need it, and then when I had the car accident, I did need it, and now I'm needing it again. So, but I'm seriously considering maybe getting a walker also, getting some money together. Especially with the work that I'm doing. I'm a delivery driver now. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, by the way. But with the brain fog and so forth and needing to go at my own pace and everything, I just can't handle it. I can't handle all that stress, all that pressure that you would have to deal with with corporations, office settings, and so forth. I just can't handle it. So, I barely handle the little bit of work that I'm doing now. So, but especially with, these apartment buildings that we have around here, they're not like what we had out there in Vegas as far as apartment buildings are concerned, or apartment complexes. Out there, they're more complexes. You have a building, and all the entrances to the apartments are outside. Okay, whereas here they're more like high-rise apartment buildings and so forth, even if they're only 3-4 stories high or whatever. All the entrances for the most part are contained indoors, and you have to enter a code in on a keypad in order to enter, and so on and so forth. And some of them can be kind of some of the apartments can be a bit of a distance with trying to walk to, especially if you're carrying a bag of food, a thing of drinks, and then you have a walker or a what do you call it, a cane on top of it. Plus you're having to be dealing with key codes and elevators, and some of these places don't even have elevators. You have to use stairs, so yeah, this is what I'm dealing with. So that's why I'm seriously considering maybe getting a walker. But one of those that's the rolling kind. I bought one for my mom, and that was awesome. Nice thing about it, of course, too, it has the seat on it, so then that way you can sit down if you need to, and it also the seat will come open. It has a little thing up underneath there, so in that way you can put stuff in there, so too. So little storage compartment as well. So yeah, I'm seriously considering possibly getting one of those. I know I'm gonna have to talk to. I figured I'd start with my insurance company, and I'm sure it's something that would be covered. I might have to talk to my primary, see about getting a prescription or something like that for them in order to cover it. And also I would want to make sure that it's one of those types of walkers and not one of those that's stationary and you have to pick it up and don't, not one of those types either. And the nice thing about the ones with the four wheels is they also have the handbrakes on them too, so you're not running. It's not running away from you. So, and if and I'm sure that they'll cover it. I might have to have a copay or something like that, but I think it would be a good idea, especially with everything I'm dealing with my feet right now. So, and I don't know, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So it might be a good idea, and for me to do. And with the car that I have, I'm in an SUV, so it's easy enough for me to, throw that in the back or what have you. And at least I would have it, for work, and to help me with getting around and so forth. Because there are days where, oh my gosh, it is just so excruciating for me to be on my feet. I'm almost practically living in my shoes now. Because the pain is just so excruciating on my feet, and it isn't just under on the bottoms of my feet. It's also a little bit on the tops of my feet, and like I said, it's all getting worse. So yeah, dealing with that, and also I made a decision here recently to quit working for Uber. I've been with Uber for almost 9 years. October would make 9 years. And I had a final straw happen last Tuesday. I was out working, and I was already dealing with bitchy people. The delivery pays were pretty decent until all of a sudden I got into this one area and I was getting a whole string of $1, $2, $3 paying orders, and I don't take anything under $5. I'm sorry, it's not worth it. And I was getting more and more frustrated, and I was trying to, to keep myself balanced, not let the energy affect me and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden I got a couple of orders that were $5, $6, so I went ahead and took them. And the one that was about $5, it was like $5 and some change. I kid you not, I got a 56-cent tip, and it wasn't because of poor service or anything like that. This is just the energy that I was in. That's all it was, because the other ones that were, at $1, $2, $3 orders, those are no tips. And you see that when the order comes in. And and then on top of it, with the things that had with that $5 order, the guy it was at a hotel. He was supposed to be meeting me in the lobby. He wasn't showing up, and the hotel staff was just like, just leave it here on the counter. I didn't need any a pin in order to move on or anything like that. So I'm just like, fuck it. So I left it, moved on. And then he calls me. He's like, "Where's my order?" And this and that. And it's like, well, dude, I'm not here to be your damn slave, basically. And that's kind of how you know, and we're I mean, and he was calling me about 5 minutes later. Seriously, you're gonna make me stand around waiting for 5 minutes? Rude. When you tell somebody meet you in the lobby, pay attention to your fucking app and know when your food is on the way. It's just rude, people. I don't care what you're in the middle of doing. It's just plain flat out rude, and they deal with it so much. It's ridiculous. So there was that, and then there's the second one that I had. It was $6. And I already knew there was no tip involved. And I had to drive 30 minutes away in order to drop it off. And I'm like, no, I'm done. And the thing that pisses me off with this particular sort of situation is, you know, I'm basically homeless. I'm living with my friends. And I'm fighting, struggling just to keep my head above water. And I realize people don't know this or anything, you know. And I mean, if it wasn't for my friends letting me stay here, I would be out there living on the streets. Okay? So yeah, I have an address. I have someplace to stay. Okay? So yeah, you can make the argument, oh, well, you're not really homeless, but basically they could get tired of me at any moment and I'm living out on the streets. So basically, I'm basically homeless. Okay? And here I am. I'm dealing with a situation where I know full damn good and well that this person that I'm going to be making this delivery to is either living in a nice apartment with having any sort of roof over their head would be nice compared to what what I'm possibly facing, or they're living in a nice house. And the way I'm looking at it is that if you can afford that, because I can't even afford that, okay? If you can afford that, you can afford to be throwing a little bit of tip money in. And you're not. And I was over it. And I'm like, I'm not delivering this fucking order. I'm tired of being abused. I know that I am worth more than this, that I am dealing with and everything. And basically, I snapped. I've been dealing with it for, as far as the deliveries are concerned, I've been dealing with it for 2 years. And I finally snapped. And before, I was doing ride sharing. But I can't do ride sharing anymore. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, like I said, I finally snapped. And unfortunately, and I just said, I'm not delivering this order. I'm protesting. So, and it's bad enough you're dealing with, bitchy customers, abuse from them, abuse from the retail associates, or the fast food stores, or, with the shopping that you do or whatever. Then on top of it, you're dealing with the company itself. And knowing full damn good and well that the fucking CEO is living in a freaking multi-million-dollar mansion. And I'm like, I am worth more than this. And like I said, I finally snapped. So anyway, I tried looking for a way to be able to cancel the order. I wasn't able to. I was able to get on the phone with Uber themselves. And I told them right out, I'm not delivering this. And of course, they're trying to give me excuses. Oh, we don't have another driver, this and that. And when he threw at me, well, we don't have another driver who can deliver the order. I told him right out, well, it looks like you have a problem then, don't you? Because I'm not delivering this order. Until this is canceled and off of my account, it's going to be one of two things that's going to be happening. Either I'm going to be driving around circles, or I'm going to get sick of it, or I'm just going to go home. Take your pick. Well, guess who found a way to be able to cancel the order? And it was quite interesting after that. All of a sudden, I got this whole slew of high-paying orders. I did what I had to do, finished up the night, and said I'm done. So, I'm still doing deliveries. I'm just doing it through other services, or a service. I will not say which. It could be Grubhub, Instacart, or DoorDash, one of those three. Can't do Postmates because Postmates is owned by Uber. The reason why I won't say which one I am, because, hey, that's competition for me. So, and this is all about me. I'm out here the one who's having to be struggling until I can possibly get on disability. So, not doing it. Not sharing. I don't care if you're watching this in this area or not, because I'm not staying here anyway. So, I have switched service, and I'm going to tell you that is the best decision I have made in a long, long time, even before moving here. And I've been a lot happier. It's been a lot less stressful. I'm not doing any of the shopping orders, even though I have that option. I'm not doing any shopping orders. Obviously, I'm not doing Instacart, which leaves either Grubhub or DoorDash. But I'm not, I'm not doing any of the shopping orders. I'm not dealing with all the Walmart bullshit, because if you have orders delivered to you through your Walmart Plus account, unless you see the Spark truck out there, if it's a private vehicle, that's all handled by Uber drivers, okay? Not dealing with any of that bullshit anymore. Just doing deliveries. And I'm working the same amount of hours, if not less amount of hours. I'm able to stay close to home, and I'm not driving all over Tarnation to make pennies. And people have been nicer. The company has been nicer. It's just been a lot calmer experience. And it's also given me opportunity to work on something that I have been debating working on, and I've picked it up, put it down, and picked it up, put it down, threw it out in the trash a couple times. I'm working on my memoirs. And I've been having opportunities, even with being out working, to be able to work on that. It's going to be 2 separate books, okay? And, well, of course, you're probably wondering, well, why would anybody want to read your memoirs? Well, I've had a very interesting life. And the reason why I have to do I'm doing 2 separate books, and I have to, but I'm doing 2 separate books is because it really is 2 separate phases that happen in my life. So, and I'm not holding anything back either. The only thing I'm holding back are names of people, okay? I think it's partly to protect them, but also to protect myself. As before I moved to Vegas, I was in Virginia, and I was involved in some pretty dangerous stuff. Things that almost costed me my life. And I'm not talking about, doing stupid shit as far as, like, I don't know, doing drugs and, jumping off cliffs and or out of airplanes or anything like that. I'm talking about being in the middle of conspiracies and trying to basically trying to save lives, putting my own life in danger. Kind of, you could think of it as kind of like mob situations, okay, but it only wasn't the mob, or anything like that. But yeah, I'm talking about all that. And also talking about some other stuff that led up to all of that, like interviewing a serial killer. Only at the time I didn't know he was a serial killer. I found out afterwards. Kind of stumbled in on that. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about all of that. And then talk about my Vegas years as a cab driver. And so if we're doing those cab driver stories, taxi cab confessions, basically. Okay, if you remember that TV show. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I've had an interesting life. It hasn't been any of the run-of-the-mill sort of thing where, I had a terrible life because I got divorced because my husband cheated on me. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to belittle it or anything like that. I'm just saying it's not your run-of-the-mill sort of shit. Okay? That I'm talking about. That I've done and I've been through and experienced. I've done shit that most people would be like, why would you put yourself in that sort of danger, and this and that? Well, it's either that or watch a 13-year-old little girl wind up in the child sex trade because her mother decided to become involved with a homeless drug addict. And she was married. So it's this sort of shit that I'm talking about. And she didn't give a shit about her daughter, and all she cared about was her new exciting life and so forth. And yeah, that guy was a real sleazeball. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's homeless people who just wind up in the situation because they had some bad luck, like myself, okay? And this was somebody who was a total sleazeball, and she just, yeah. And I seen it coming, and I had to put a stop to it. And in the process, put myself in danger. So, yeah, like I said, these are the things that I'm going to be talking about. So anyway, and a lot of other shit. So, be on the lookout for that. It'd probably take me a couple of years to write all this, but at least now I'm finding that I'm having more time to be able to do it, especially in between, trying to juggle work plus dealing with all my physical stuff and everything, my medical stuff. I haven't had time, and I would get frustrated too. And like I said, I've thrown it out a couple times, but now I'm sticking with it. I decided, you know what, I'm doing this. So, anywho, and I'll self-publish unless another opportunity comes along. But if the opportunity is going to have to fit in with my criteria. I did used to be a graphic designer. I know what to do. I have been in the publishing industry as well, aside from just advertising, so it isn't like I don't know what I'm doing. So, it has, like I said, it all has to meet with my criteria. So, anyway, this is where I'm at right now. See what happens. All right. And just to let y'all know, my little baby, my little kitty, she's doing really, really well. She's down there sleeping right now. Her birthday's coming up, June 30th. And she's going to be 8 years old. I know. So, anywho, all right. I love you guys. I know it's been a long one. Had a lot of catching up to do. Talk to y'all later.